Focus on yourself, stay silent. The world is loud, full of voices competing for attention, each one desperate to be heard. But strength does not come from noise. Strength comes from silence. When you choose silence, you choose control. You are no longer moved by every word, every opinion, every distraction. You become still, and in stillness there is clarity. When you focus on yourself, you begin to understand who you are, what you want, and what you are capable of. You stop measuring your worth by the eyes of others. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. Energy is precious. Do not waste it proving yourself to people who do not matter. Keep it, guard it, direct it only toward your growth, your purpose, your path. The world will try to pull you into its noise. People will talk, they will judge, they will expect a response. But silence is not weakness. Silence is a shield. Silence is discipline. It unsettles those who rely on noise to mask their emptiness. You do not need to answer every question. You do not need to fight every battle. Sometimes silence speaks louder than words ever could. Focus on yourself. Build in silence. Heal in silence. Train in silence. Let your results make the noise. And when the time comes to speak, your words will carry weight, not because you shouted, not because you demanded to be heard, but because you chose to stay silent until it mattered. In a world of endless voices, be the calm. In a world of constant noise, be the silence. Focus on yourself, stay silent, and watch how the world begins to listen. Silence is often misunderstood. Many see it as emptiness, as weakness, as a lack of confidence. But silence is far from empty. It carries weight. It holds presence. It has the power to unsettle without a single word being spoken. In silence, you do not give away your thoughts. You do not reveal your next move, and you do not waste your strength on meaningless noise. Instead, you conserve it, you sharpen it, and you direct it where it truly matters. When you are silent, you listen differently. You hear what others miss. You notice details, expressions, and truths hidden beneath the surface. Silence is a teacher, one that reveals more than constant speech ever could. Words often fill space with distraction, but silence clears the fog and brings clarity. It allows the mind to breathe, to see through the chaos, and to find answers within. There is also a certain respect that silence commands. A person who can stay quiet, who does not rush to respond, who is comfortable with stillness, carries a presence that cannot be ignored. They do not need to shout to be heard. Their silence is enough to demand attention. And when they finally speak, their words strike deeper, because they are chosen, deliberate, and rare. Silence is not the absence of power. It is power under control. It is strength disguised as stillness. In a world desperate to be loud, silence is the sharpest voice you can have. Focus is more than attention. It is a weapon. When you learn to direct your energy toward a single purpose, you gain an edge that most people will never know. The world is full of noise, distractions pulling you in every direction, tempting you to scatter your time, your effort, your discipline. But when you focus, truly focus, you cut through all of it. You move with precision, with intent, with power that cannot be matched by someone who is divided. Focus means sacrifice. You cannot give yourself to everything and expect to master anything. To focus is to choose, and in that choice you become sharper. It is like the difference between light and a laser. Light spreads everywhere, but a laser burns through steel. That is what focus does. It turns ordinary energy into unstoppable force. Distractions are weapons too, but they are used against you. The world will try to keep you busy, unfocused, lost in the noise of constant comparison and endless movement. But when you refuse to scatter your attention, when you guard your focus, you protect your strength. You are no longer led by the chaos around you. You are guided by the purpose within you. Focus is not loud. It does not boast. It works quietly, relentlessly, day after day, sharpening you until the results cannot be ignored. And when your focus meets opportunity, it cuts through doubt, fear, and resistance. In the hands of discipline, focus is the weapon that wins the war. Every action, every word, every reaction you give away costs energy. And energy once spent cannot be taken back. Too often, people pour themselves into arguments that do not matter, into proving points that change nothing, into chasing approval that brings no value. They exhaust themselves fighting battles that were never theirs to fight. Energy is life, and if you do not learn to protect it, you will find yourself drained long before your true purpose even begins. Conserving energy does not mean doing less. It means doing what matters. It is the discipline of choosing where to place your effort, who to give your time to, and what truly deserves your response. When you waste energy on every distraction, on every voice that calls your name, you scatter your strength. But when you guard it, when you reserve it for what is important, you become unshakable. Even in silence, you conserve energy. You do not explain yourself to those who will never understand. You do not react to every insult, every provocation. Instead, you stay still, calm, and controlled. That quiet restraint is not weakness. It is power held in reserve. And when the moment comes, when your energy is needed, you will unleash it with force because you have not wasted it on noise. Energy conservation is not laziness. It is strategy. It is the art of keeping your strength for the right time, the right place, the right battle. And that discipline is what separates the strong from the scattered. The world is drowning in noise. Everywhere you turn, there are voices shouting, screens glowing, opinions demanding to be heard. Everyone wants attention. Everyone wants validation. Everyone wants to be louder than the rest. But in this endless flood of sound, very little is worth listening to. Most people speak not because they have something valuable to say, but because they fear silence. They fill the air with words, desperate to be noticed, desperate not to be forgotten. This noise is dangerous. It steals your focus, clouds your mind, and pulls you into battles that do not matter. If you let it, the noise of the world will decide your thoughts, dictate your emotions, and control your actions. You will find yourself reacting instead of creating, chasing instead of building, comparing instead of growing. The noise is designed to keep you distracted, to keep you from hearing your own voice. That is why silence becomes so powerful. When you step back from the constant chatter, you begin to see clearly. You realize how much of the world is just distraction disguised as importance. You stop being moved by every opinion, every headline, every demand for your attention. In silence, you recover your strength. In silence, you hear what truly matters, your own purpose, your own vision, your own path. The noise of the world will never end. It will only grow louder. But you do not have to join it. By choosing silence, you rise above it, and in that stillness, you find freedom. Growth does not always come from movement. Sometimes it comes from stillness. In a world that glorifies constant activity, people forget the power of pausing, reflecting, and listening to themselves. Stillness is not idleness. It is not weakness. It is the space where the mind resets, where the heart heals, and where the soul gathers strength for what comes next. When you allow yourself to be still, you begin to see the parts of your life that movement hides. You notice your patterns, your habits, your fears, and your strengths. You learn to understand yourself beyond the noise of the outside world. In stillness, you grow in awareness, and awareness is the foundation of all progress. Growth in stillness also requires patience. It is not about chasing quick results or forcing change. It is about letting time do its work while you nurture your discipline. A seed does not grow by noise or chaos. It grows quietly, hidden beneath the soil, unseen by the world, until it breaks through with strength. You are no different. Your most powerful growth happens away from attention, in silence, in stillness. The discipline to be still in a restless world is rare, but it is the very thing that sharpens your focus and deepens your strength. Stillness teaches control, and control builds resilience. When you rise from it, you rise stronger, clearer, and prepared. Growth is not only in action, it is in the silence between actions where transformation takes root. Respect is not earned through noise. It is not claimed by shouting louder than others or by demanding recognition. True respect comes from presence, the quiet strength of someone who does not need to prove themselves with words. Presence is felt before it is spoken. It is the calm in your posture, the discipline in your actions, and the confidence in your silence. When a person carries presence, they command attention without asking for it. Others notice the way they move, the way they listen, the way they remain steady while the world rushes around them. Presence is built on self-control. It shows that you are not easily shaken, not easily distracted, and not desperate for validation. That steadiness is what makes people pay attention. Respect through presence also comes from consistency. You do not need to announce who you are or what you stand for. Your actions reveal it over time. People learn to respect you when they see discipline, reliability, and strength in the way you live, not in the way you talk about living. Words may fade, but presence lingers. And when you do speak, presence makes your words heavier. Silence has already given them value, and your consistency has already given them credibility. A single sentence spoken with presence can silence a room more effectively than hours of shouting. Respect cannot be forced. It is not in noise, but in quiet strength. Presence earns it, and once it is earned, it cannot be taken away. In the end, it all comes back to discipline. Focus on yourself, guard your energy, and embrace the strength of silence. Do not let the noise of the world pull you away from your path. Growth comes in stillness, and respect is built through presence, not noise. You do not need to announce your worth or prove your power with words. You need only to sharpen yourself quietly, patiently, and with purpose. When the time is right, your actions will speak louder than any voice could. Until then, remain calm, remain focused, remain silent. The world may not understand it at first, but in time it will have no choice but to listen. Silence is not emptiness. It is strength under control. Focus on yourself. Stay silent. And let the results tell your story.